Though fighting's exciting, discover discussion, swap guns for tongue, and charm for concussion. Envelop your foes in one massive kiss and come to the Friday night Armistice.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You're only being fools to yourselves there. Well, it's been a week dominated by images of blasted shop fronts, cup glory and flustered cattle. But the Liberal Democrats grabbed the headlines with a policy document on Black Rod's dress code. Here it is. It's a leaflet about the timetabling of legislation through all-party standing committees, and it's covered in bits of bent yellow. And among the reforms is a limit on the Queen's finances. Now, they say that the Queen should only be entitled to £50 a day from a newly installed Buckingham Palace cash point. There we go. And Her Majesty will retain her ancient right to throw any credit slips onto the ground. As Euro '96 drew towards its inevitable third week, the game's popularity encouraged one club to publish plans for a 5-stadium football multiplex. It's the UCI Footiplex in Ross-on-Wye, showing popular matches in large grounds and smaller Eastern European games in the Art House Stadium. And finally, controversy followed the Lottery Board's decision to award funding to gay groups, just to annoy people who live in renovated rectories in Hertfordshire. Now, this included an award of £20 million to the BBC to make Gay Pride and Prejudice.
In vain I have struggled. It will not do. My feelings will not be repressed. You must allow me to tell you how ardently I admire and love you. I'm preparing myself first. I'm fully aware that I will be going expressly against the wishes of my family, my friends, and I hardly need add my own better judgment. The relative situation of our families is such that any alliance between us must be regarded as a highly reprehensible connection. Indeed, as a rational man, I cannot be regarded as such myself, but it cannot be helped. Almost from the earliest moments of our acquaintance, I have found a passionate admiration and regard, which, despite all my struggles, has overcome opposition and rejection. And I beg you, most fervently, to relieve my suffering and consent to be my wife. Come here, my child.
Thank you. Sorry, what's that, Mr. Tony Blair? Mr. Darcy really wets your sponge? Mr. Tony Blair. You are a horny pelt, aren't you? Now, David Schneider and Peter Bainham are bounding around the studio like a pair of blue-arsed men. And, Peter, I see your face has gone football mad.
That's right, Armando. I've painted my face here to show the ideal formation of the England team, with McManaman probing back down to the right, Anderson dropping back to allow Gascoigne to move up. And I painted this red cross on the top to show that I hate football and I couldn't give a toss about any of it. Here are a couple of my friends, the only other people in Britain who don't like football. This lady's painted a penguin on her face because she'd rather read a book. This man prefers to watch a Clark Gable movie on the other side during the afternoon matches. And on this lady at the end, you can see her face is still wet and she's looking in a mirror because she'd rather watch paint dry.
Right, well, Peter, thanks very much for losing us all the viewers we've just inherited from Fantasy Football League. Sorry. Well, sorry's not good enough. Wipe your face and go and find them. Off you go. Right, David.
Well, in the week which gave us one of the most emotional episodes of EastEnders, as Arthur was given a pound stuck in the ground, in a week in which Arthur was buried, I'm here with someone who I hope is going to bring a bit of drama and excitement to our show tonight. It's Steve, the man who does the big drummy bit at the end of EastEnders. All right, there he is. So, Steve, tell us, what's your typical day like?
Actually, it's quite hard. I come into Albert Square every morning, I set my kit up, and the thing is, I don't actually know when the big cliffhanger ending is actually going to happen. So what I usually set up at the Fowler's place, because it's mostly there. But then I might get a call from the Queen Vic saying, things are getting pretty tense, you better come over there. And, basically, it's the same thing every day. It's kind of something like, you know...
So it makes you want to watch the next episode already. Yeah. So, Steve, listen, I've got a bit of a surprise for you, actually. I mean, a bit naughty of us. Something that the rest of us haven't seen, but see if you remember this. Can we just roll the tape?
We have entrusted our brother Arthur to God's merciful keeping, and we now commit his body to the earth, earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. In sure and certain hope of the resurrection to eternal life.
Ah, we got you there, didn't we? Anyway, look, you're going to be on hand tonight just in case we get any cliffhangers during the show, yeah?
That's right.
Great, OK, well, thank you very much, Steve, and back to you, Armando. Armando?
That's plenty. That's good, that. I'm all excited now. With only 4 years to go before the millennium, plans for Britain's Millennium Exhibition are about to be announced. Here's the model of what should be a stunning parade of buildings. Unfortunately, because of a funding shortfall, this model is now going to be the exhibition. Here it is erected on a piece of waste ground in Greenwich. The ground will stay as it is, as a park celebrating the history of waste. Already tourists are flocking to Britain to view this spectacle. And this is the dress rehearsal of the opening ceremony, when a pigeon of peace will be released to the heavens, as well as a cascade of a balloon representing hope for the future. And the ceremony will end with the breathtaking descent into the pavilion of an RAF parachutist. There he goes. David, I gather that the most important relationship in your life ended this week.
Yes, that's right, Armando, it did. Oh, dear. Because there's been a lot of talk about the government's new divorce bill designed to tackle the shocking statistics that show that 5 out of every 2 marriages end in divorce. Now, one of the new measures in the bill suggests that rather than making divorce easier, getting married should be made much harder. So from this week, every couple planning to get hitched must attend a marriage boot camp run by the Church of England, designed to give them a taste of the brutal realities of wedded bliss. Anyway, I went along with my girlfriend for a short, sharp shock. Here's how we didn't get on.
It's 8 a.m. at Chalfont Marriage Camp. Myself and the love of my life, Sandy, are preparing, along with 4 other couples, for a weekend marriage taster. There's Tom and Melanie planning a big white June wedding.
I've been married and divorced 8 times!
A teenage couple with an unplanned pregnancy. And John with Blossom, his Filipino bride who speaks no English.
This weekend, you're going to learn what it's really like to be married with me, Reverend Grover and Sister Mary Ignatius. So let me tell you, I know what I'm talking about. You think marriage is a bed of roses, don't you? Well, I'm going to show you a bed of roses. Come on! There you go! There you go! That's a bed of roses for you! Do you like it? Right, we're going to kick off your marriages. On my command, you're going to go out there into them woods on your own and survive. So, pick up the asses. Get marching! Move it! Move it! Move it!
An hour later, and most of the couples have managed to set up home.
What do you think you're doing?
Well, we've just finished it, actually.
Where's the surveyor? You haven't had him in yet? That means you haven't got planning permission, doesn't it? What? Take it down. Take it f***ing down now. Get the surveyor back.
The Filipino bride has set up a perfect domestic environment.
Yes, well done, yeah.
While Sandy and I are still struggling.
Oh, well, not bad. I suppose at least you're in. Right! You've got a baby! What are you going to do, OK? There's not enough room. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
We're going to build an extension.
Oh, no, you're not. It's Greenbelt. What are you going to do? Come on, come on. Conversion.
Do the loft.
It's a listed building. I'm going to tell you what you're going to do. You're going to move! Come on, you're going to move! In fact, everybody move! Yes! No! Stop! You're in a chain. You can't move. Come on, back. Use a bit of this. Back. Right, what are you going to do now? You're stuck. What are you going to do?
gone to boarding school.
Now you're thinking, you see.
The afternoon is spent finding out what it will be like to live together for 40 years.
Just do it!
The teenage couple have to endlessly redecorate the same bit of wall. Tom and Melanie get to find out how endearing habits can become nightmare irritations.
Will you stop twirling your hair with your finger?
You're bloody sniffing!
I'm not snotting my nose.
Either blow it out or sniff it right back up, but not halfway in between like that. Oh.
Sandy and I get to find out what it's like literally to live in each other's pockets.
Okay.
That's so typical of you.
Anytime you want to, you can turn me on to.
It's Saturday evening, and all the couples are allowed out to the pub. However, when we get there, we're made to sit in the family room. It's a nerve-wracking preparation for tomorrow, when we'll find out what it's like to have children.
OK, well, day 2 later of the weekend Dave spent some screaming Anglicans. But now it's time to examine the tall, thin, regurgitating body of Diana, Princess of Wales. Following her caring example of turning up at scenes of distress with a 2-man camera crew and van full of electric cabling, we decided to go further by filling a bus with 12 Dianas to see how good they were at comforting the miserable. First stop for the Diana bus was a traffic jam and a road full of road rage.
There was an interesting...
So, Dave, no,
I think you'll remember I'm doing this bit. Yeah?
No, I speak now.
No, I'm doing this.
No, I speak. I came in. Remember, we grew like...
No, please, Peter, it's my turn.
Dave, don't take that.
You are a liability.
Don't do that patronising face with me. You're doing that patronising bloody face all day. Actually,
I can't help it.
Sod you! I've had enough of this. This crap. I'm leaving the show. Just testing the East End drummer's responses there. Very good indeed. Well done. Well done.
Steve, do you ever get bored with just doing that same rhythm, like on the show?
I tried it. I'll just show you one. There was once when the last word was, it's not Lofty's child, it's Den's. And I went...
It's not got the drama, that.
Well, did they like that, or did they...
Didn't have the same thing.
Do you do the omnibus as well on Sunday?
That's recorded, you pillock.
He's got a side to him, hasn't he, Steve?
Yeah. Well, later in the show, I'm going to go swimming with the first shark in captivity that can literally bask in its own glory. But first, Britain in Europe. As the government gears up for a final showdown at this weekend's Euro Summit, John Major's revealed his plans, which basically involve pulling Portillo and Hogg right back and pushing Rifkin forward to attack Santa, while Clark marks the Germans and Shearer puts forward revised plans for the culling of dairy herds.
This Europe Summit, I mean, it really hurts my head now. It's all become so complicated. I'll show you what I mean. Here's the front page of The Sun a couple of years ago. Up yours, Delors. Right? We all remember that, yeah, very clear. Now, here's The Sun from, this is yesterday's Sun, and I'll read out what it says. The Sun says, we're not saying a blank no to Europe as an economic superstate, but we require firm assurance before entering into what will inevitably be a further erosion of sovereignty, Delors.
I mean, the thing is, right, that now some Eurosceptics go so far as to believe that Europe doesn't even exist. They think that Europe was filmed on a set at Paramount Studios in the 60s. They do.
What's more, a lot of them will not set foot on a cross-channel ferry. They insist that if a ferry goes 20 minutes out of Dover, it doth plunge over the edge of the world.
That's quite true, because there are certain other Eurosceptics who don't believe that the Channel Tunnel goes to France. What they say is that it doth loop round and belch cars back into Suffolk.
A lot of people, they have these vague memories of being abducted and taken to Europe, often when they were very young. I mean, I have to confess, I remember myself being taken away, and I think I must have been experimented on, because I was gone for 2 weeks, and I was stripped almost naked and fed olive-like food, and then I came back all burnt and a bit fatter.
Oh my God. That rings a bell, because I can remember sort of going down a very, very long tunnel and coming out at the other end into a strange futuristic landscape that was all 1 hour ahead.
I remember being taken out of my family, and what they did was they replaced me with one of their own when I was about 14, and he, like, observed and spied. And, like, years afterwards, my parents would bang on about how much his table manners were better than mine.
So whether they're out there or over here, one thing I think everyone has agreed on is that the Europeans are rabid animals, hell-bent on destroying our way of life and introducing tough anti-pollution measures. But we're ready for them. 50 feet beneath Westminster, yes, I said feet, not grams, there is a perfect, fully operational village green, which, in the event of an invasion, will snap into a game of cricket until the emergency is over.
And over here is a replica of John Major's campaign bunker. Now, at the moment of the Great Invasion, the Great British Banger here will be taken from its normal home, the crypt of Westminster Abbey, and then placed under 24-hour armed guard so no one can get at the crowned sausage.
Meanwhile, a single portion of fish and chips wrapped in newspaper the way it should be will be cryogenically preserved in liquid nitrogen and batter.
And a few cells from a bowler hat will be placed on a Petri dish so that scientists in the future can clone from it. And this is what one of them will look like after just 2 weeks. And they'll also be incubating Scouts' eggs.
Over here, they've stocked up on tinned pounds. And if you're getting worried, don't. They may never get here. Britain's shores will be defended by a huge wall made out of illegal immigrants and asylum seekers. But, in a nightmare scenario, if the Europeans manage to get down here, the government has piled up massive reserves of guts, upper lips, backbones and spunk.
And, of course, we have got the ultimate British weapon here, which is being clumsy with a long plank.
But there isn't room for everyone down here. The rest of us will have to cope above ground with Europe's cleaner air and rivers where kingfishers don't make nests out of chemical foam. We'll be forced to kiss, have good sex, dress well and work reasonable hours. Now, the British people can get round this by following very careful drills. At the first sign of the Europolice, hide your cow in the attic. Then make like a European. So, here we have a typical jolly British pub. Now, as you can see, this sort of fun will be banned under Europe. So, let's try the drill. Quick! The Europolice are coming! Quick! Change!
Get closer, quick! Change the
Hair up! Cut the music! Change the music!
As much hair as you can on. Come on, quick, that's it. On your legs.
They're coming!
That's it.
Hair!
Facial! Under the arms! Down the table, go!
So, and there you have it. A frightening vision of a Euro future. Is that what you want Leon Britton to do to your children? Stop him now. OK, back now to our bus of Dianas as they prepare to storm a palace.
Coming back out in your tears. What, you don't want Princess Di to hug you?
It's not there, it's not dignified.
She's a naughty. Did she actually say she was Princess Diana?
No.
I'm sure that one of them was. They were in a... Did you see the van they were in as well? It was a Buckingham Palace van. Yeah. So I'm sure one of them was. And one of them stood out from the rest. Didn't you? The one you photographed. I just thought it was a whole group of, you know, women playing a trick. And then I saw her.
Welcome back to miniaturised area now for another harrowing yet delightful invasion of some poor celebrity's privacy. My little bonsai keyboard here is as ever connected to every security camera in the world. So let's get nosy. Now, you're going to be very impressed with who I've got this week. Who do you think?
I don't know.
Terry Venables.
Terry Venables.
I have been watching football. Now, I think we've got some footage of a match. It's the Scotland v England match.
Yes.
Sorry, Armando.
Thanks for putting that one up.
Thought you liked that. They go into the tunnel. There goes Gaza there. Now, this is the bit you don't normally see. This is the security camera footage.
Right.
There go the players. Right.
Yep.
Here comes Terry Venables. Now, watch this.
Yep. What's he doing?
Off with his jacket.
Oh, my God!
That is quite the most arousing piece of footage I've ever seen.
Now, this week was declared Law and Order Week by Home Secretary Michael Howard, a man who's had 7 decisions overturned by the High Courts, 3 judged illegal, and been officially described by the European Court to have broken more laws than Bamba the Knuckles Henderson, Home Secretary under Ramsay MacDonald. Howard's latest proposals are for the public to have more say in sentencing policy, and there's rumour of a pilot scheme in the form of a Blue Peter Court of Appeal, in which kids decide whether hard criminals should be eligible for parole or just die in suspicious circumstances. However, this has backfired. Convicts now realise they can get public opinion on their side by making themselves look more viewer-friendly. So, top offenders have hired image consultants to organise a relaunch. So where does this leave Michael Howard? Well, another piece of legislation has just been ruled illegal. He's been declared very guilty, and under his tough new conviction rules, was yesterday obliged to arrest himself. Howard quickly scarpered, and an appeal soon went out.
Now we have a man who may look familiar. As a result of viewers' phone calls, he was traced to an address in Southampton. But detectives just missed him. In fact, he'd left a message for them sprayed in shaving foam. He's believed to have committed over 200 offences of deception all over the London and South East.
So he maintained that everything was an operational matter rather than a policy decision, and therefore not his responsibility. He tried carrying on being Home Secretary while under arrest, and during his trial and imprisonment. On Friday, a High Court ruling declared that all of Britain's remaining convicted armed robbers were to be released, on the grounds that using guns to thieve was an operational matter rather than a policy decision, and therefore one for which they should ultimately be responsible. So, by midnight tonight, Home Secretary Michael Howard is the only person in Britain's prisons where he endures the taunts of lusty prison guards while still trying to pass legislation.
Fundamentally, the idea of locking more people up as a solution to crime is just not a terribly intelligent way to approach the problem.
It's the courts who decide what punishment to impose on people who are convicted before them.
David, you know what I'd really, really like to see now? I'd like to see more of that traumatic weekend when your relationship ended in tatters.
Yes, let's. Day 2, children.
Oh, what's that I hear? It's a child crying. Yes, it's your child. He's dropped his biscuit in the mud. What are you going to do about it?
Give him another one.
He doesn't want another one. That's his biscuit in the mud.
He's distracted. And we'll give him a special biscuit with chocolate.
He's not interested. He wants his biscuits. There's 2 of them there. Get down there and get his biscuits.
We got it.
Yes!
Fucking biscuits!
Shush! Hold it. What's that I hear? He's had his biscuit and now he wants his juice.
Gentlemen, this is SimKid.
I was chosen to try out the child simulator. I had to attempt to read my newspaper during 15 years of child development. Age setting 6 months, and a tiny fist flicks the newspaper whilst orange juice is squirted continuously in my face. At 2, a tiny hand pokes me repeatedly in the eye. At 3, I have to endure potty training. 9 years old, and my child decides he wants some pets and takes up painting. 15 years old, it's teenage hell. I can stand no more. I'm about to crack. Sunday evening, the passing out parade, and few have made the marriage grade.
I blame you bloody personally.
The only couples set to make a happy marriage are the extremely young pregnant couple and John and his Filipino wife Blossom. As for me and Sandy, it turns out we're totally incompatible. Last I heard of Sandy, she'd set up home with Lucy.
Now it's time to play Hunt the Old Woman. Hello. This is the point where our old woman Jean, hello?
Hello.
This annoying old woman gets on to other TV programmes while their makers aren't looking and makes an ancient exhibition of herself. And there've already been a number of grey sightings while we've been off air. What was the first one, old woman?
Last of the summer wine.
Last of the summer wine. Let's look out
A girl with a mucky neck.
Where is she?
No, that
oh! Left shoulder.
You remember Ruby Milburn?
Wait
so
for
well.
it. And right shoulder. There is another sighting more recently, and that was on The Big Breakfast. Let's have a look at this.
Where are you, Richard?
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right there.
What's your name?
Oh, get close to the microphone.
And what's your name?
I'm an old woman.
She actually speaks. And well done to R.J. Waters of Lynx, who says, found her on The Big Breakfast. She spoke the words, "I'm an old woman," this being only the second time she has spoken on British television. So thank you very much, Richard. No one loves a smart-ass. There was one final sighting, the most difficult geriatric intrusion of all, because it came a month ago in the London Marathon. Let's see if you can spot her. That's not her running. Very difficult one, this, right? Now, top left, that very suspicious patch of red and grey. Just zoom in on it, OK? There! There! Absolutely. OK. And now, unfortunately, there wasn't a single winner for that one. So no one wins our star prize, which is a Friday night Armistice motorhome. So we won't show you that. But the runners-up do get a set of Friday night Armistice dart flights. There they are. They go on your darts, or you can throw them about individually. It really is up to you. So remember, the old woman will be on your screens over the next 6 weeks. So hunt her down. That's just about all we've got time for, but look out for the new divorce bill, which comes out on Monday. There's an 18-month cooling-off period with that one, but if you're in a hurry to get shot of old arse face, don't worry. We're offering an Armistice quickie divorce. We've got couples from the audience who can't stand the sight of each other flooding down to take part. And over here we have the Reverend Sun Young Moon from Religion's The Moonies performing TV's first mass divorce.
Now, if you want to join in at home, don't wait, just separate. All you got to do is place your hands on the TV screen, and when the Reverend Moon says the word, turn round and leave each other, and the last one out the door gets the blame.
And don't worry, kids, you're involved as well. From Monday, the Armistice custody bus is going to be going round the country with a specially trained clown who's going to be giving out free legal advice on balloons.
We've got badges saying "free at last" from your incessant drinking, and hats saying "split me quick" for that party atmosphere.
That's all from us. If you've missed Roseanne on the other side and want to know what happens, Dan comes back as a robot. And not yet, not finished. And if you buy the Times on Saturday, you can get to see the Sex Pistols on Sunday for 10p. Good night.